Mark Mullins. From the station working for you, this is Good Morning Indiana, streaming now.
It's 4:30 here on your Monday, and we're off to a snowy start this morning. Lauren's tracking any slick spots on the roads, and Todd's breaking down your work week forecast.
Plus, a new series will focus on mental health in the Black community. Working for you, what the mothers behind this message hope will come out of this conversation.
And hundreds of Indiana National Guardsmen are at the nation's capital this morning. Their task and why the troops are being vetted by the FBI.
And then downtown Indy is getting a big boost in business. Why business owners say it's coming at just the right time. Thanks for joining our team here on this MLK Day holiday. It is 4:30 and I'm Lauren Casey.
And I'm Megan Shin. Of course, we've seen some snow over the weekend. And Todd, man, do we expect that to continue?
There'll be a few flurries here today, at least during the daytime hours. Nothing substantial, nothing that's going to cause any issues. But then this evening, some of you will get into a little more significant snow shower activity. More on that coming up. Outside right now, temperatures hovering just below freezing. So we've been dealing with this snow since Friday. It hasn't really amounted to a whole lot, at least on the roadways, and that's because temperatures have been hovering at or just above the freezing mark. Outside right now, there's no visibility issues. That shows you that there's no significant snow moving through the metro area right now, but there's still a few snow showers out there, and wind chills are in the teens and 20s, so you definitely need to bundle up. Here's our last remaining snow shower, some making their way through Madison County, pushing into portions of Henry County this morning. Few flurries to the north near Peru, but again, there's nothing big time heading our way, at least throughout the course of the day today. So we'll have mostly cloudy skies, temperature 20s here this morning, eventually into the low 30s. We'll talk about the areas that could see some accumulating snow later tonight, coming up in Maine weather in just a few minutes. Lauren.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Let's take a look at your commute as you're heading out the door this Monday morning. This is up on the north side of town, I-465. Here in Meridian, street traffic is quiet, traveling up to speed, no delays. So let's take one more look this morning. This is I-70 here, a little west of the airport ramps. You can see traffic over to our west is traveling smoothly. We'll continue to keep you updated if there are any trouble spots for your commute.
Lauren, thank you. An officer-involved shooting is under investigation in Grant County now. Officers were called to a house in Marion for reports of a stabbing. When a Grant County deputy started walking towards the scene, 25-year-old Daniel Young drove towards the deputy, leading him to jump on the hood of the car. The deputy fired several shots through the car's windshield, hitting Young before the car came to a stop. Shortly after, Young was taken to a local hospital where he later died. Police say Young stabbed a 53-year-old man multiple times before they arrived on the scene. The officer was not injured in this situation. And this morning, the family of Lauren Spearer continued to search for answers. It's been nearly a decade since her disappearance, and the IU student would have celebrated her 30th birthday on this Sunday. In 2017, Brown County prosecutor Ted Adams believed Daniel Messel was connected to Spearer's disappearance. Messel was convicted of killing an IU student from Fishers in 2015, but he was never charged in Spearer's disappearance. Private investigators and Bloomington police officers say they continue to investigate leads. Spearer was last seen in downtown Bloomington on June 3rd, 2011.
Out in Cass County, state police are investigating the death of an inmate at the county's jail. Investigators say 72-year-old Clyde Davis was found unconscious in his cell on Saturday. He was taken to the hospital where he later died. This morning, police say they don't believe foul play is involved. An autopsy is scheduled. And this morning, a death investigation is also underway out in Vermilion County. Authorities there say they found the body of 69-year-old Nancy Helms on Sunday. Helms was living in an abandoned house in Hillsdale. Deputies say that Helms was living there by choice and that people tried helping her. Helms' body was found by a neighbor taking her food. The Vermilion County coroner says Helms died from environmental concerns.
Lauren, an organization supporting families impacted by gun violence is launching a new series tomorrow. The focus is on mental health in Black communities. This series is called My Mental Health Matters, Mama Help Me. DeAndre Dykes created it after her son Dre was shot and critically injured nearly 7 years ago. Now she's teaming up with other mothers who have children impacted by violence. On Tuesday, the mothers will talk transparently about mental health issues their children face consistently. And one of the mothers on the virtual panel is Brandon Warner's mother, Tammy. Last year, Brandon survived an attempted suicide.
People need to be aware about mental illness. It needs to be more research. It needs to be more in the schools. It is hitting our young kids very hard.
Just seeing the pain in my son's face when he said, "Mom, it should have been me shot, not my brother," that broke me down. And I said, we got to do something about this. People aren't recognizing vicarious trauma, community trauma, when individuals have their next door neighbor shot, their sibling shot. They always jump to the aid of the parents. And I understand that, but these siblings hurt.
You can find a link for Tuesday's virtual event on Facebook. The page is called Purpose for My Pain. It starts at 8 p.m. The event will continue with a different panel and different topics on the third Tuesday of each month, Lauren.
And Megan, it is 4:35. Later this morning, community members will come together to remember a community activist who was shot and killed this past week. The vigil for Johnny Purchase, known as Mr. Johnny, will take place at 11 o'clock this morning at the Edna Martin Christian Center over on the city's east side. Mr. Johnny was shot last week at New Bridges apartment complex at 25th and Hillside Avenue. Vigil organizers say the killing happened while Mr. Johnny was spreading a message of nonviolence and social services on behalf of the Edna Martin Center. After the vigil, several people will go to the crime scene to set up a memorial site for Mr. Johnny.
More than 600 Indiana National Guardsmen are in the nation's capital this morning. The men and women are there to help local and federal authorities with President-elect Joe Biden's inauguration. The Hoosier soldiers are joined by airmen from all 50 states and 3 territories. Some 30,000 troops are expected to be in Washington, D.C. leading up to Wednesday's ceremonies. Defense officials say they're worried about an insider attack from the service members working the inauguration. This morning, the FBI says they're vetting every National Guard troop headed to D.C. The massive undertaking reflects the safety concerns following January 6th riots at the Capitol. Army Secretary Ryan McCarthy says he wanted commanders to look out for any problems within their ranks. The chief of the National Guard Bureau says there are good processes in place to identify any potential threats.
Now to the latest on the coronavirus pandemic and its impact on our state. This morning, state health officials report more than 3,200 new cases of the virus. That's the lowest number since last Tuesday. Health officials also report 24 more Hoosiers have died with the virus. That's the lowest number of new coronavirus reported deaths in a single report since January 11th. Since the pandemic began, more than 8,900 Hoosiers have died with COVID-19.
Downtown Indy businesses got a much-needed boost over the weekend. One business we talked to says it had the best weekend since the pandemic began. On Wednesday, paying spectators were welcomed back into Bankers Life Fieldhouse for the first time since the pandemic started. The Circle City also hosted a national cheerleading competition this weekend. We spoke with one business that sits directly across the street from Bankers Life Fieldhouse. A year ago this month, Sauce on the Side opened its doors. The owner says to-go, curbside, and takeout orders got them through the pandemic. But he's excited for more people to head back to downtown Indy.
This has been an exciting week, I think. I think any person you talk to that operates from a business standpoint, at any business standpoint, that deals with, general public is super excited about everything that's been going on down here.
The owner says he hopes he can continue ramping up business as the year goes on. He is looking at hiring additional staff to help as more events are planned for downtown Indy.
Well, the U.S. could hit 400,000 coronavirus deaths by the end of today. This morning, how the incoming administration is pledging to increase the number of vaccines that are being distributed.
Plus, Drew Brees is hanging up his cleats. The latest surrounding the former Purdue standout's future straight ahead right after this break.
And some snow showers are making their way through central Indiana here still this morning. It's been an ongoing theme of the past couple days, and we're not quite done with them yet. We'll talk all about it coming up in your WRTV Storm Team Forecast.
Welcome back. The time right now is 4:42. Let's take a live look right now at traffic up in the Anderson area. Good morning to you. I-69 near State Road 109. You can see traffic there is quiet this Monday morning and on this holiday. Of course, we'll continue to keep a close eye on your roads all across central Indiana. We'll keep you updated on any delays.
Lauren, thank you. Jackpots for the Mega Millions and Powerball keep growing. This morning, a combined $1.5 billion are up for grabs. The next Mega Millions drawing is on Tuesday. The $850 million pot is the third largest lotto prize in American history, Lauren. And meanwhile, the drawing for the $730 million Powerball prize is set for Wednesday. Now to the pandemic. The U.S. coronavirus death toll is expected to reach 500,000 people by mid-February.
As ABC's Mona Abdi reports, many cities say that they're running out of vaccines.
This morning, as hospitals struggle with a surge of COVID patients, they're also struggling with the chaotic vaccine rollout.
At this point in the pandemic, what's keeping you up at night?
Vaccine rolling out fast enough and people not getting too ahead of it.
Mass vaccination sites are popping up from Hard Rock Stadium to Citi Field, even Disneyland. But with a crippled rollout plan, appointments are now overbooked.
I'm hearing word that there is a shortage of trained medical personnel all over the place. And so we're going to have to look to see if different vaccine sites can start to train people. This is also going to take more funding and better coordination so people know when to show up to their appointments and where to go.
The government is pushing for at least 50 million doses to be distributed by the end of January. So far, only 31 million have gone out. With the transition of power in Washington just days away, Joe Biden's team is promising to address the vaccine bottlenecks.
We're inheriting a huge mess here, Jake, but we have a plan to fix it, to make that vaccine supply go farther.
And now, another challenge. At least 20 states have confirmed cases of that more contagious UK mutation of COVID-19. Hospitals in England are seeing a new patient every 30 seconds. Mona Abdi, ABC News, New York.
Well, Vice President-elect Kamala Harris will officially resign from her California Senate seat later today. This move will end Harris's one-term four-year Senate career. On Wednesday, she'll be sworn in as the U.S. Vice President. Harris is making history as the nation's first female, first Black, and first South Asian Vice President. With the double Democratic Senate victories down in Georgia, Harris will have the power to push ahead any issue that's held up on party lines. California Governor Gavin Newsom has already named California's Secretary of State Alex Padilla to fill Harris's seat.
This morning, federal prisons across the country are on lockdown leading up to Inauguration Day. Bureau of Prison officials say the lockdown is meant to terminate any violence leading up to President-elect Joe Biden's swearing in. The lockdown will take place at more than 120 federal prisons. It'll start on midnight on Saturday. Prison officials say the lockdown is precautionary to avoid backlash. The lockdown wasn't announced until after inmates were in their cells on Friday evening.
And this morning, new research shows that election misinformation on social media plunged 73% after companies banned President Trump and his allies. A San Francisco-based analytics firm called Signal Labs calculated the number. It reviewed posts from before the ban and compared them with posts after President Trump's removal from Twitter. Election fraud conversations went from 2.5 million mentions to under 700,000 during that time period. It is 4:45. Let's get a check of our forecast back here at home. Todd, what can we expect today?
You know, more snow showers are in the forecast here throughout the day today. It's probably just a few flurries during the daytime hours. And then this evening, some of you could potentially get into some minor snow accumulation. The view outside right now in downtown Indianapolis not showing much of anything in the way of an issue. 28 degrees in Indy right now. Feels like 17 though, because this wind not very pleasant out of the west right now at 14 miles per hour and all across the area. Temperatures are sitting in the 20s with a few 30s out there. 28 in Bloomington, 29 in Bedford, Tipton at 26, 27 is the current temperature in Peru. And then there's those 30s over in the Muncie and the Connorsville area. And temperatures today just not going to do a whole lot once again. We'll only go up a couple degrees from where we are right now to highs that'll be hovering right around that 32 to 33 degree mark across most of the area. And as far as the snow goes, there was a coating on the ground as I came in to work here this morning in downtown Indianapolis. And there's still a few snow showers out there. That most potent one, if you want to call it that, is here from Anderson down towards the Newcastle area. Just missing out in Muncie. And then there's a few flurries as you work to the north. A few flurries here making their way through the metro area, but obviously not all that heavy. When I just showed you the tower cam, if it was a potent snow shower, the visibility would have been really reduced, and that is not the case. As you look across much of the Midwest, you just see these little patches of snow moving through. Just a very unsettled weather pattern, but we'll get into a little bit of a push of more significant snowfall potential later on this evening. So again, don't be shocked if you see see a flurry or two or a quick passing snow shower here throughout the course of the daytime hours today. But look what happens overnight. Here we are at 10 p.m. We're dealing with some light accumulating snow that's going to move through just basically southern sections of central Indiana. To the north, you're probably just fine with this. May clip Indianapolis a little bit, but any accumulating snow is going to be here across southern locales. And we're not talking about a whole lot. About a half an inch to maybe an inch and a half. A couple locations may get close to the 2-inch mark, but nonetheless, the National Weather Service has issued a winter weather advisory for counties to our south. It does include Bloomington, Nashville, Columbus, over into the Greensburg area, and then south towards Seymour, 7 p.m. tonight to 7 a.m. tomorrow morning, so just be aware of that. And then tomorrow, after that little system moves through, we actually work our way into some sunshine in the afternoon hours. It's still chilly, though, tomorrow, with high temperatures that'll be right around 33 degrees. The middle of the week takes us up to 42 degrees by Thursday, and then cooler again as we head, Lauren, into the weekend.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Let's take a look right now at your commute up in the Anderson area. Again, this is where we have some snow flurries flying this morning. Traffic there is pretty quiet from what we can see on our camera. We'll continue to keep a close eye in that area, though, and let you know if there are any trouble spots, especially with any slick roads. Let's take a look now down to the south. This is I-65 and Southport Road, where things are moving along up to speed. Pretty quiet down that way as well. Again, it is Monday and it's a holiday, so we'll keep you updated if there are any trouble spots you need to avoid for your commute. Megan?
Lauren, thank you. Time now to check in on the NBA. The Pacers are in LA playing Paul George and the Clippers. The blue and gold were able to get within 2 points early in the third quarter, but that'd be as close as they get. The Clippers would lead the Pacers by 25 going into the fourth, and Indiana fell to LA 129-96. They host Dallas on Wednesday. Last week, the Pacers announced a limited number of fans will be allowed in Bankers Life starting next week.
Well, it appears Purdue standout and New Orleans Saints quarterback Drew Brees is pondering retirement again. That's according to ESPN. Brees did not announce his intentions immediately following last night's playoff loss to Tampa Bay, but he did chat with longtime friend and rival Tom Brady. The pair even sharing a hug after Brady's Buccaneers beat the Saints. Brees nearly retired after the 2019 season and told reporters following the game that he had no regrets about coming back for his 20th season.
Man, you find out so much about yourself and you have to fight through so much, when you play this game. And I'd say this season, probably had to fight through more than I've ever had to in any other season in my career. From injury to all the COVID stuff to just crazy circumstances. Man, it was worth every moment of it. Absolutely.
Brees is expected to transition into a broadcasting career following his NFL retirement.
We wish him best of luck. Well, a Georgia woman is helping a hardworking teen stay on the path to success. Coming up, her incredible act of generosity. It's 4:50 on this Monday morning. We'll be right back.
And real quick, Megan, we're going to take a live look outside right now. This is from our tower camera here in the Circle City. We are keeping a close eye on any flurries, any issues out there this morning. We are seeing a few snowflakes here on our camera. Nothing too crazy, though, for your Monday morning. We'll be right back after this short break.
TV.
Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. We're keeping a close eye on traffic this morning. This is I-465 and East 56th Street up on the northeast side of town. Traffic in this area is moving along up to speed, both northbound and southbound. No issues here to slow down your commute. Megan?
Thanks, Lauren. Here's proof you can overcome all the odds. Take a look at this incredible drone footage of a paraplegic climber in Hong Kong attempting to scale a skyscraper. Impressive video. You can see 37-year-old Lei Chi-wei strapped into his wheelchair. He used a pulley system to climb up the massive building. After more than 10 hours, he reached about 850 feet and called it a day. Chi-wei can now say he's the first man in Hong Kong to scale a building in a wheelchair. Whew.
Pretty impressive there. Well, this morning, a woman in Georgia is changing a young man's life with an extraordinary act of kindness. When Lavonda Wright found out that her high school senior Jaden Sutton walked 7 miles every day, rain or shine, to his restaurant job, she knew she had to do something to help. So she created a GoFundMe page, raising more than $7,000 to buy him a car. A local car dealership even stepped in and dropped the price to fit the budget. Love seeing acts of kindness there. I'm sure that'll help that young man out, who's obviously working hard. So Love some good news on a Monday, Todd.
That's right. Gets the work week off to a great start, even though a lot of people aren't working today because of the holiday. But if you're not working, it's going to be a cold day. If you're getting outside, a few flurries will be possible here throughout the day today. Then this evening, a little more in the way of significant accumulation in southern locations. And we're talking maybe an inch or two of snow. We'll talk more about that in Maine weather as we get into your 5 o'clock hour. But once we get past today, finally some sunshine working back into the forecast. And temperatures warm to 42 degrees by Thursday, and then they'll cool back down as we head into next weekend. The next bigger storm system that could impact the area is not until late in the weekend next week on Sunday with a high of 37 degrees. Time now is 4:56. You're watching Good Morning Indiana. We're here on WRTV. Stay with us. We're back in just a couple minutes.